You ever have one of those years that just changes, well, everything? A year that draws this sharp line between who you were before and who you were about to become. Well, today, we're going to dive into a year just like that. 1982. It was a time of massive global shifts, and it was the year one man, without even knowing it, took his first step towards shaping the future of online education.
So, to really get this story, we've got to set the stage. 1982 was a pretty big year for headlines. In Norway, the whole country was glued to their TVs when skier Oddvar Bra broke his pole in this legendary race. The world was watching as the Falklands War kicked off. China's population officially crossed the 1 billion mark, which is just staggering, and Helmut Kohl started his long run as Chancellor of West Germany. So, that's the world we're stepping into.
Okay, so that's the big picture, but let's zoom way in, from the world stage to the life of just one person. At the start of 1982, Morten Flate Paulsen was a teacher. But his classroom? It was inside the Sjømilitære corps, the Norwegian Navy's petty officer school.
His world was, well, it was all about military tradition and camaraderie. Evenings spent in the officer's villa, checking out movies on the brand new VHS format, or getting into debates about the Falklands War. Life was structured, it was predictable, and it was completely analog. The whole digital revolution felt like it was happening on another planet.
And this story, man, it just perfectly sums up his world at the time. When King Olav visited the base, Paulsen talks about this immense pride and sense of duty he felt. His life was defined by things like honor, tradition, service to the crown. Things deeply, deeply rooted in the past.
And then came the end of that chapter, and what an ending it was. As his military service finished up, there was this student tradition where they'd grab the teachers in their full uniforms and toss them into the freezing Oslo fjord. A funny and probably very, very cold send-off from a life he was about to leave behind for good.
So his military days are done. Paulsen's at a crossroads. And you know how these huge pivotal moments happen, right? It's never a big explosion. It's usually something quiet, like the rustle of a newspaper page.
So in the spring of '82, he's just flipping through the Aftenposten newspaper, and boom, there it is, a job ad. It's for an institute called NKI, a correspondence school that taught students through the mail. He'd barely even heard of the place, but something in the job description just grabbed him.
I mean, just think about those words in 1982. New educational initiatives related to computer technology. That wasn't just a job description. It was basically a portal to the future. This was the absolute bleeding edge of education. So of course, he applied, he got an interview, and his life was about to take a very, very sharp turn.
He got the job. On September 1st, 1982, Paulsen walks into the offices of NKI Distance Education and straight into a world that was going to put him to the test immediately.
And the change, wow. It was like night and day. He literally swapped his Navy uniform for a suit and tie, the rigid world of a military base for the constant hum of a civilian typewriter pool, and the weight of centuries of tradition for the thrill of what was next.
And that test came almost instantly. His new manager calls him on a Friday afternoon. The teacher for a course starting Monday morning just dropped out. Could he fill in? Oh, and the subject? Just 40 hours of a super complex programming language called PDP-11 assembly. The students? Syrian and Saudi Arabian engineers. The language? English, and he had the weekend to get ready. No pressure, right?
And you know what? He did it. It was the ultimate sink or swim moment, a complete trial by fire, but he survived the week. That single experience proved to him, and probably more importantly to his new boss, that he could adapt and he could thrive in this crazy new world. It was a huge moment of personal growth.
Okay, so he survived that challenge. But the next pivotal moment wasn't a person daring him to do something. Nope. This one showed up in a bunch of cardboard boxes. This was when the actual hardware of the PC revolution landed right on his desk.
Just look at this number, 400. That's how many BBC microcomputers NKI bought that summer. You have to understand, that was a massive, expensive gamble on the future of technology in education. A huge bet.
And this wasn't just any old computer. The BBC Micro was special. It was the heart of this revolutionary project to make an entire nation, the UK, computer literate. At a time when computers were these mysterious things for big corporations, this machine was built specifically to teach. It was an educational tool. And for Paulsen, it became his personal key to unlocking this whole new world.
So he gets this machine, and he doesn't just, learn how to type on it. No way. He dove right in.
He taught himself everything about its popular 6502 microprocessor and its really complex assembly programming language, the same language that powered a ton of early video games and apps. This chart right here just shows you how fast everything happened. We're talking about a few short months. The guy who started the year in a Navy uniform wasn't just teaching computer courses to businesses, he was writing and publishing the actual course material himself. A whole book on 6502 assembly programming. Incredible. All right, let's just pause for a second here and take all this in. The sheer scale of this transformation is just amazing, and it all happened in the span of one single crazy year.
He starts 1982 as a military officer, a man steeped in tradition. By the fall, he's a civilian educator, just trying to figure out a new career. And by the time the year closes, he's an author and a pioneer, literally writing the instruction manuals for a future that was just starting to flicker into existence.
That 1 year, 1982, that was it. That was the bedrock. It was the foundation his entire incredible career would be built on. Before online learning was even a phrase people used, the skills, the confidence, and the passion he found during those 12 months set him on the path to becoming a true global leader in the field.
And that really makes you think, doesn't it? Paulsen's story just goes to show how one single year can completely change a person's destiny. So as you think about his journey, it kind of makes you wonder, what was the year that set you on the course you're on today?